yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?
I had to ask myself those questions. And this is my response to you.
Those who criticize our generation forget who raised it, and also forget, or just don't have a clue, what position they have left us in. So it is our turn now to fix what has been done, and we must stand up, and we must stand up quickly for our next generation, for our grandchildren, before it's too late. So I just want to ask you one question, and that question is, what does freedom mean to you?
We are also going to be looking at the debate last night. Even though both men are bought and paid for by the globalists, it's important to look at what they're saying and what they're planning to do. Kind of like the debate last week with Obama and Romney. Obama said, yeah, I don't want to just ban your rifles, your semi-autos. I'm going to ban your handguns, too. And I'm going to come after your guns, and I'm going to put people on psychological lists extrajudicially. So we already knew that, but it's good to see the little tidbits and nuggets we get out of those events. So we're going to be breaking all of that down. I've got to say, just being honest, Obama barely won the debate last night with zingers and jokes and things, and I think that Mitt Romney really laid down to a great extent. The Republicans began spinning it that, well, you know, what really happened here with this is that Romney was looking more presidential. Well, that's why they say Obama lost the first debate, because he was quiet and not combative and basically let Romney run over him. Obama was also doing the point 1, point 2, point 3 thing, where they go through a bunch of points that impresses the sheeple. Overall, I had to walk out during the last 20 minutes of it. I mean, it was that effect, because everything was based on a tissue of lies. And they were debating within a universe of lies, basically rearranging deck chairs in a virtual reality, on a virtual Titanic. And it was just ridiculous to hear them talk about how they were fighting al-Qaeda and how they've got to go after Assad and al-Qaeda. And Obama did add a few provisos because he knows this is coming out. Well, we don't want to arm the wrong groups in Syria. Well, that's who they're arming. That's the main force, is al-Qaeda. So they're already acting like, oh, we didn't know we armed the wrong groups, so that a year from now, 2 years from now, when the 10,000 missiles they got out of Libya, 2,000 of them heat-seeking or radar-guided, start blowing airliners out of the sky, well, they can say, oh, boy, we didn't know they got it. And then the media will, of course, cover all that up. Watching the debate, hearing both men talk about how we've got to fight al-Qaeda in the Middle East. And they would both talk about fighting al-Qaeda. And then they would say, we've got to deal with Syria, we've got to deal with Iran. Knowing the general public thinks Syria and Iran are al-Qaeda, when one is a secular government and the other is a Shiite government, both historical enemies of al-Qaeda based out of Saudi Arabia. And the Sunnis, and I'm not bashing 80% of Muslims happen to be Sunni, but that's where that Wahhabist sect comes from. And it's run by Saudi intelligence and British intelligence, and that's on record. And so I literally got nauseated watching the debate, because my brain was going a million miles an hour during it, because it was like people debating virtual reality. So-called politically aware people that, you know, that 23% that read newspapers that think they're real informed, they were tuning in, and it was just... It was like watching people debate the different virtual reality video games they play. It's like, man, I don't want that. I don't want the fantasy woman. I don't want the fantasy house. I don't want the fantasy car. You understand? I want the real thing. In fact, here it is, breaking it down. Post-debate, MSNBC's Matthews claims Romney supporters fueled by racial hatred of Obama. Really, I'd love to have a black president that got rid of all the gun laws and got rid of the private Federal Reserve. Man, you could have an all-black cabinet. You could have everybody. Seriously, I could get as if white people, on average, don't like Obama because he's black. How about white people I know and black people I know and everybody else I know who's not a complete idiot don't like Obama because of what he stands for? But here's the bigger issue. They are literally, folks, Obama supporters in overdrive saying they're going to riot and kill people. And sure, most morons that are going to get online and say they're going to kill the presidential candidate are so stupid, they're probably not very motivated. I mean, they're probably pretty darn lazy, and they think it's just trash talk like you can do about some, non-governor or non-president type person. But the Secret Service is now confirmed they are, quote, visiting these people. So my point is, why are these Obama supporters allowed to do this by the thousands and threaten to riot? Because if I said I'm going to riot, that's me saying I'm going to commit a crime. I'm going to go out and burn some things down. That's not free speech. That is premeditated statement of the intent to commit a crime, and there's state and federal laws out the yin-yang to stop that. I just happen to know that you can do this to private citizens and get away with it, but you can't get away with it with governors and senators and judges and the president. So I want to know why the media either says this doesn't exist or says I'm racist to cover it, when this is a news story. Obama supporters continue threats to riot, assassinate Romney. Secret Service attention fails to dampen violent Twitter comment. Establishment plays race card to bury violent threats by Obama supporters. And there's also, we haven't played this card yet because I tend to shy away from it, but I'm gonna call Watson up right now. There are racial components towards Romney, and you know what? I'm tired of being called a racist when I'm not. Well, but again, here they are. Here they are, basically on the same page. Obama and Romney, not 2 cents worth of difference between them. Mitt Romney agreed with Barack Obama so much last night, it was shocking, says the Business Insider, and I agree. Here's the clip.
We were together at a humorous event a little earlier, and it's nice to maybe be funny this time, not on purpose. We'll see what happens.
Would you have stuck with Mubarak?
No, I believe, as the president indicated and said at the time, that I supported his action there. We have to do as the president's done. I congratulate him on taking out Osama bin Laden and going after the leadership in al-Qaeda. Well, first of all, I want to underscore the same point the president made, which is that if I'm president of the United States, when I'm president of the United States, we will stand with Israel. There's no question but that a nuclear Iran, a nuclear-capable Iran, is unacceptable to America. Crippling sanctions were #1, and they do work. You're seeing it right now in the economy. It's absolutely the right thing to do to have crippling sanctions. I'd have put them in place earlier, but it's good that we have them. I don't blame the administration for the fact that the relationship with Pakistan is strained. We had to go into Pakistan. We had to go in there to get Osama bin Laden. That was the right thing to do. And it's widely reported that drones are being used in drone strikes, and I support that entirely and feel the president was right to up the usage of that technology and believe that we should continue to use it to continue to go after the people who represent a threat to this nation.
Continue to use drones against international law in dozens of countries to get al-Qaeda. No, you mean anybody fighting a takeover by the globalist, who you then just call al-Qaeda, while real al-Qaeda, our criminal government runs. Al-Qaeda is magic for the New World Order. They can use them to take our liberty. They can use them to attack the Serbs, the Russians, the Libyans, the Syrians, the Iranians, while telling, I showed articles yesterday where Hillary is in the news saying Syria is with al-Qaeda and that Iran is with al-Qaeda while they use al-Qaeda to attack them. I mean, that is such an insult to everyone's intelligence, and that's why I physically, this has never really happened to me. I got nauseated last night and had an actual psychological response an hour into the debate, an hour and 10 minutes, and had to leave the room. And then it went away. I mean, because it was such a fraud. It was all lies, and they were debating different variations of lies. It's just such an insult to everyone's intelligence. Now, here are the articles. Obama supporters continue threats to riot, assassinate Romney. Secret Service attention fails to dampen violent Twitter comments. And then we have another report out here. Establishment plays race card to bury violent threats by Obama supporters. And we have links to that showing should threatening to shoot a presidential candidate in the face earn you a Secret Service visit? And it just goes over that, Paul Watson. And Paul, I know it's in your latest article, the mention of the racist stuff. But you know what? If Chris Matthews and all these people are going to say we're racist if we don't support Obama, we need to point out the racism that is coming out of the Democratic Party supporters who think it's cute in culture, movies, everywhere. You know, it's like a movie with a name like White Men Can't Jump. Imagine if you made a movie like, you know, something derogatory and said, black men can't this. Again, and it's not that I get what it's all about, but I'm tired of it. And I think it should be exposed, not, hey, you're the racist back, but, hey, this is cultural manipulation. Paul Watson, your take on that.
Well, I mean, the media got up in arms a couple of weeks ago. If you remember, there were a few reports of some old guys hanging empty chairs in their lawns in reference to the Clint Eastwood RNC speech. And that was like a big story, you know, was it a threat against Obama? And then this happens, literally thousands of tweets threatening directly to shoot Romney in the face with a shotgun. If you look at the latest article, that's what they say. And not only is it not an issue in the media, but we get blamed for it simply for drawing attention to it by Think Progress.
Okay, Paul. Yeah, my only point here is I think we should expose the racism angle because media ignores, you know, racial attacks on Romney, death threats, riots, everything. And I mean, I think we need to expose that because, and then point out the irony that we're supposedly racist because we're pointing this out because Obama supporters can do no wrong. And like Chris Matthews said, yeah, if you don't support Obama, you're a racist. It's now just down to that. I mean, it's not that I don't like socialist health care. I mean, I obviously love it. It's the fact that he's black. I mean, that's just ridiculous, Paul.
Well, I just typed in the words Romney and cracker on YouTube, and there's literally a ton of them again. There's one guy who's actually a black guy who says, how you'll call Romney a racist, but you'll call him a white cracker all day long. And then apart from that, there's ones that say, if Romney win, I'm assassinate that cracker. Romney said kids overdosing from marijuana. Never in my life have I heard such a thing. That cracker is stupid. There's literally dozens of them. So when they try to play the race card, I mean, it just doesn't work because it's coming from both sides. But yeah, I mean, they pulled a guy over in 2009. Secret Service visited him after for having a sign saying abort Obama. He was against Obama's abortion policies. I had a guy, a 16-year-old kid actually, who made a YouTube video criticizing Obama over his NDAA policy. He got a Secret Service visit. So, I mean, you've got to look at the double standard here. The leftists can, you know, spout violence all day long, nothing happens, but when somebody so much as has a sign critical of Obama, they're the ones getting the Secret Service visit.
Well, clearly, if you have an anti-abortion thing saying abort Obama's administration, that means get rid of his administration. I remember that guy got pulled over and taken to jail or whatever.
Yeah, and we're bad for pointing it out. We're bad for drawing attention to it. We're the ones race baiting when Think Progress is the one going on about race all the time. And I mean, just look at these latest tweets. Quote, I want to shoot Romney in the forehead and skull F him. Quote, Lord forgive me, but I'll shoot Romney dead in his face. Quote, I would love to shoot Romney with a shotgun. Imagine if there were hordes of Romney supporters on their Twitter account saying that. It'd be a national news story.
Oh, no, they'd say Romney militia planning violent overthrow, insurrection, call out the military. It'd be, oh, my gosh, into the world, run for the hills. They're terrorists. Now what are we going to do? But instead, whenever it's against Romney, it's like, well, that's reasonable, you racist.
Yeah. And a lot of these people aren't even black. I mean, there were several in the ones this month. They're mostly black people, but some of them aren't even black, and they're threatening to kill Romney.
Oh, now you're racist against whites. Why do you hate white people, Paul? I mean, this isn't going to work anymore. What do you think's going to happen if Romney does lose? I mean, I guess the Obama supporters will be happy, but what if Romney happens to win, which most polls shows he's going to win?
I think if it's narrow, and this is what a lot of people are saying, that there will be riots. I mean, whether that's on a widespread basis, who knows? But certainly if it's a very narrow decision, which if Romney does win, it looks like it will be narrow because the in-trade still has Obama quite clearly ahead, and he's still ahead in the key states. But if it does come down to the wire and it's narrow, then yeah, I think you will see some civil unrest because that's how a lot of these leftists react to losing and not getting their way. And we don't even support Romney. I mean, listen to that speech last night. It was insane. They were just agreeing on everything, you know, funding Al-Qaeda in the Middle East.
No, I physically got nauseated. I've never had that happen before.
Yeah, so we're non-partisan. We're not saying vote for anyone. We're just pointing out the double standard because we're often on the end of it. We got blamed for Richard Poplawski shooting those cops in Pittsburgh when in fact he hated us. He said that you were a sellout or whatever. But that's
well, I wasn't a white supremacist, so he didn't like me. You know, no, that was the point. And yeah, we're always trying to
retract it all.
We need to cover that and show that that there's a double standard here. Well, they are jokes, and that's why they're going to try to shut down web freedom and everything. That's why Obama supporters are calling for banning free speech. They can't beat us in ideas, and so they want to cheat. And it isn't going to work. You're losers. Everybody's waking up to you. And as far as I'm concerned, you can go right to the devil. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, when Obama supporters come out publicly and say they want to shoot Romney in the head, that's nothing. And it's not only a non-issue, it's our fault for drawing attention to it. It's a complete double standard. It's insane, and it just highlights their rampant hypocrisy.
Has discovered yet more tweets from Obama supporters threatening violent murder of Romney, which include the following, and I'm not even going to read these on air. But this is all very premeditated. People could get, you know, many years in prison for these. And hey, if later they selectively enforce, this is going to be brought up to juries when you're trying to put patriots in jail for no reason or mild stuff. This is going to be brought up. The establishment has tried to bury the issue by blaming the likes of InfoWars for drawing attention to it because most of the tweets are being made by black people. It's our fault, and we are engaging in race baiting. Apparently, according to the likes of George Soros-run Think Progress, who downplayed the issue, it's no big deal to threaten to shoot a presidential candidate in the face so long as your skin color is black. Imagine how this organization, which claims it's nonpartisan yet simultaneously admits its goal is centered around driving the White House's message and agenda, would react to thousands of tweets threatening violence against Obama. And it goes on here, too. There's also a lot of racial comments. I'm going to get Paul Watson to update on that. It's just amazing. Here's Fox News. Post-debate, MSNBC's Matthews claims Romney supporters fueled by racial hatred of Obama. Listen, I would have supported Herman Cain if he wasn't a former Fed governor, if he wouldn't calling for 9999, because there's another 9 in there, the FICA tax. And, you know, if he hadn't been caught lying, I would vote for, I don't care what color your skin is. And I shouldn't even have to say that. Point is, it's the people constantly talking about race, like Chris Matthews, are the ones using race for control. And more people are figuring that out. Okay, let me go over some more of the election news here. Election 2012, Colorado. Colorado, Romney 50, Obama 46. That's one of the key battleground states that Romney or Obama need to get to win. Has now reached the 50% mark for the first time in Colorado and leads President Obama by 4 in critical swing state. That's out of Rasmussen, and a whole bunch of other polls are showing the same thing. So what do we expect to see? Well, there's election fraud going on out there, and we've got Bev Harris coming on to go over some of this. But I did confirm what I heard about weeks ago. Forbes is reporting Hart InterCivics is basically now controlled by the Romney family, and it controls a lot of the balloting. But then there's Obama supporting groups that also control some of the other machines. So I guess in America, it's how many machines you control. I mean, that's a total conflict of interest. Here's the Associated Press. Obama, Romney pumped for the dash to the finish. Yeah, it's not long now. How many days are we talking about here? Like 8 days and then 6 days? I mean, how many days is that? 14 days, 13 days? Wow. Continuing here, Obama, Romney tangle on al-Qaeda, foreign policy, and final presidential debate. I mean, that's just totally ridiculous. They're doing nothing but discussing fantasy there. Romney won the presidential debate by looking presidential. Obama had a painful case of Biden's smile. That's the London Telegraph. That's their view of that. And that was the Republican spin I was seeing last night, was that immediately, well, he looked presidential and Obama didn't. Well, that's what the Democrats tried to say for Obama when he lost the first debate, was Obama was trying to look presidential. I don't think he lost it as bad as Obama lost the first one. But, I mean, again, it's all rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. But I have to say, Obama, I couldn't watch the last 20 minutes. But from when I saw Obama won the debate, just because, well, they were interrupting him so much, too. So we've got more news on that. This is an interesting article here out of the Washington Examiner. Walmart heir funding Obama big time. Well, yeah, Walmart gets a lot of its money from welfare recipients. That's where a lot of them shop. And so that's all the economy that's left now for 50 million Americans is food stamps, and well, it's 90+ million on welfare. So, I mean, yeah. The Washington Times describing Obama donor Sam Walton as Walmart chairman. In truth, the Obama donor is Walmart heir Sam Walton. And it goes on, I guess that's the correction at the top here. Can we stop pretending that Barack Obama's candidacy is some grassroots uprising? And then it just goes on with them breaking down the fact that the Walmart heir of Sam Walton is funding that. And here's Forbes. Romney's family investment ties to voting machine company that could decide the election, causing concern. And Forbes goes over to confirm that. Romney's ties to voting machine makers raise alarms. Pretty much the same headlines everywhere. Romney family buys voting machines through Bain Capital Investment. Supreme Court rejects early voting appeal. So Hardiner Civic's based here in Austin. It just destroys the integrity of the entire voting system. Folks, I don't know who's going to win this. And again, they're both puppets, but it will vary. And if Obama gets back in, he won't be facing re-election. He'll have executive orders. He'll have the pardon power. But that may backfire and make people really wake up and say no to him. Or he could just totally take over. Or does the establishment want Romney in there because he's a new face and people kind of go back to sleep for a while, and then he can, quote, get things done, like legalize the illegals and all the stuff he's promised to do. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm telling you, at the grassroots, people are really, you can see it, you can feel it, you can tell. Romney is ahead in this. And the numbers all show that, not from one polling company or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10. It's every one we've looked at. Across the wide spectrum, this is going on. And so it's not just in popular vote, too. You know, they got major universities like the University of Colorado there at Denver, who's been stunningly accurate the last 20 years or so in elections, saying that Romney's who they think is going to win. He's going to win 76%. 76% chance he'll win the popular vote was the number I saw last week. And that now he's starting to pick up dead heats or passing in the key battleground states like Colorado. So regardless, could there be an October surprise if Romney wins rioting? And what will that do? I'm not the one saying that's going to happen. His supporters, Obama's supporters, are the ones saying that. Now, if there aren't riots or there are only a few little ones, the media, you can better believe, is going to come out and say, Mr. Jones, you said there'd be riots. No, no, no. We're saying thousands of people are saying riots and killing and everything else. So that's the issue, and so we need to get that straight on the record. Get that straight on the record.
Yeah, you know, I'm with you on the debate last night. It was like watching two demons trading lies about fairy tales.
Oh, gosh, I was trying to tweet things all day, and I just couldn't come up with anything. It's probably why I was getting nauseated that could describe it. I'm going to tweet that right now. Oh, gosh, you finally said it. That is exactly what I was thinking, and I couldn't say it last time. I was like, I had some mental block to the point of, it was so disgusting. I had to, let me tweet this. Of course, my tweet's not loading. My little spy phone here.
Trading lies about fairy tales.
That's it. Two demons. You're a genius. Two demons. Well, anyways, keep going. Go ahead and make your point.
So anyway, yeah, and to me, it was like they were competing for the America, you know, for the soul of America. It was like a contest of liars. You know, who's the best liar? Boy, he was really a convincing liar. I don't know. Maybe Obama was a better liar. You know, that's just what it looked. I don't know. It was just disgusting.
You know, I'm not just saying this. That's one of the most concise, almost haiku-like poetries you just said, because I was trying to figure out how to tweet last night in a short enough span, and I had all these drafts because it kept denying me. It was always a little too long. How do you say this is all a fraud, and then they're debating little intricacies of the lies, and how do you say there's scum on top of it? And that's it. The debate was like watching two demons trading lies about fairy tales. That's it. Any other points about the debate?
You know, that was really the main thing. It just was. It was hard to watch. The lies were just so. It was unbelievable. It was. It was like you said. That, you know, it was like you're in the Matrix. So. Yeah, and
well, it was just all. But then in real time, you could see Obama throwing in provisos finally. Like, and by the way, we don't want to arm the wrong guys there. While they're arming al-Qaeda, they're already getting the next story ready, you know, to keep bombing after they've gotten rid of Assad. It's a perpetual war plan to actually just deindustrialize and wreck those poor countries. And then you realize you're under the same attack here. It's just so sick. It's like it's a nightmare that never ends. And it's like, why can't people see Obama was like some weird space alien debating Count Dracula is how my wife described it last night. And Obama looked like he had jaundice, and Romney looked completely insane. Anything else, sir?
And black magic, basically.
No, but I mean, you're right. They were there like two vampires fighting over the woman they've got in the ditch. You know, they've run the wagon off the road, and they've killed the horseman driving the wagon, and then they've got the young maiden knocked out in the back, and Renfield's running around there, and it's two Count Draculas fighting over who gets to suck all the blood out of her. I hear you, brother. Great points. Yep, the debate was like watching two demons trading lies about fairy tales. Yeah, that's it, because it's lies within lies. Zach in Tennessee, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, in my opinion, it was Obama, the UN uniter, versus Romney, the Bilderberg-built businessman. And I was just going to ask two questions, if I could, after that.
Go ahead, brother.
They're going to be, we heard the clip you played earlier where Romney was praising the use of U.S. drones foreignly. Will he increase their use both foreign and domestically? And also, post-election, will Obama or Romney sign onto the UN gun grab that they previously pushed under the table? Yeah,
they're both going to sign on to it. That's why the globalists have an agenda. That's why they agreed so much on foreign policy. That's why they had trouble even fighting with each other, because it's all smoke and mirrors. But the Air Force has 20,000 drones assigned to the CIA. It's 20,000 last time I checked. 20,000 operable. And they're in the news today calling for more drones. And yes, the plan is to have them operate everywhere weaponized. And to have blimps tethered over every city. It's just a hellish future. I mean, look, it's crazy people with unlimited power that we're funding who want to play God, who are eugenicists that also love to poison our food supply. I mean, you couldn't come up with a more sickening perspective than what we're facing.
Right, and also, is it by 2016, is that when they're allowed to use them officially, domestically? That's what I've heard, or have you heard anything else?
Sure, they're already rolling them out in the next, it was 60-something, no, it's $46 billion that they put in the funding for domestic drones and the FAA funding just last year, and it was earlier this year, 30,000 drones. Washington Post reported on that. It's the main source. And they're buying them everywhere and already weaponizing them, so it's here. And they're also going to have ground robots, too. I mean, they're already, the street lights in Austin for 14 years have got microphones on them, and now they put one in by my parents' house. I mean, microphones, cameras, and the street lights. I mean, you know, this is it.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, brother. Welcome.
Thanks. I was just calling because with all these Twitter threats against, Romney and everybody now, I would just like to point out that not only, one, is this not a new thing, but as a matter of fact, I'm a pretty young guy here. When I was 18 a couple of years ago and going to college at the Ohio State University, all right, I had a tweet that I actually put out one day, actually on the 24th of September 2010, that was I had a particularly bad day. I tweeted that I was hungry angry and that I was frustrated enough to, potentially shoot some Apple Store employee. I was being using hyperbole, of course.
But they had to take it serious because of the shootings, or they would have. But here's the deal. There was a guy, when that cop shot the poor black guy in the back that was bound in San Francisco, and then the cop got off, I think it was like a year in jail. A guy on my site said somebody ought to kill that guy, close quote. And they went, arrested him, got, the subpoena, got our records, got him and took him to jail, and he got a big prison sentence. So my message to people is, this stuff's all being watched. I mean, you know what? People all the time threaten me online, and I'm not really afraid of them because I know cowards do that. If you're really going to go after somebody, you don't threaten it. But the point is, there's all these punks that think in the internet world they can just threaten people all day, and that's not how it works. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was just going to say, what I found amazing about that is, I tweeted that out on like 24th of September, and that was, at best, that is a threat, I guess, and, that probably should have been said. But the reason I've even left it in there is because, and that was a threat against an employee of a store that I was upset with, and I had the Department of Homeland Security with the University Police Department come into the dorm that I was living at. Now, interestingly enough, I wasn't there at the time.
Yeah, but see, there you go. It shouldn't have been the feds. The feds are taking everything over through the threat fusion centers, and then they're always involved. So I know they can say, well, it's the internet, it's federal. Well, then everything's federal. So how'd the story end?
Well, it ended up they came in with a university police officer and a Homeland Security agent and everything, and sat down with me in the lobby of the dorm there.
I want to hear the rest of this.
Yeah, well, anyways, they showed up and were sitting me down and giving me this talking to about how I shouldn't be doing this and that and whatever, and how serious it was, and that you can be arrested for this and all these different things. Well, in any case, I didn't even put the dots together, but turns out that they were probably most likely doing this in advance of Obama coming to campus, not 3 weeks or so later after this meeting they had with me, which someone mentioned to when I was telling them the story later. They're like, it was probably because the president was coming, and I didn't even connect to the dots.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. They've got data mining deals that scoop everything up. It's an incredible technocracy. Good to hear from you, my friend. Bringing up points. What was your point about the Constitution, ma'am?
I was just going to say, it's going back to your earlier conversation about the candidates. All of us, so many of us feel very upset by only being given the choice of Romney or Obama. And what I'm wondering at this point, you're talking about squandering power, and I think all these, I listen to Sons of Liberty radio and different programs, and I guess what I'm wondering is, why aren't we using our platform? I mean, MoveOn.org has certainly done enough of it to promote the Constitution Party candidate, Virgil Good, because he is on, I think, just about every state's ballot now. And to me, it's a better choice than anything else.
Sure. How they get us is the lesser of two evils, and I appreciate your call, where just like the two parties are subsidized, just like sports is subsidized, they make it such a big spectacle that then the third party is such a sideshow. People go, well, there's not much difference, but, I like Romney or I like Obama.